Welcome back. All right, so 4 games in the National Hockey League tonight. Quiet night by NHL standards. Tomorrow is very busy. I'm going to be watching hockey all day. It's going to be posted with 2 separate videos, but we'll get into that when I get into the preview, which I'm going to record tonight and it'll post to the channel in the morning. So 1 late game, 3 early games. Let's go ahead and jump right in with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So Tampa doesn't stay winless for long. It's Vasilevsky against Tarasov in this one. The early jump, though, goes to Columbus, and they score first. It's Johnny Gaudreau from Danforth at 2:21. So Danforth jumps onto that first line in place of the injured Laine. Danforth, a hard worker. Nice to see that happen. And that goal was the result of a good press by Columbus. Then there's a stretch pass to Roslovic, near miss there. So Columbus at home, the crowd's into it, things are going well. But the Bolts then press at 4.5 minutes. Johnson has a rush chance. That's defended by Hedman. So Kent Johnson out there. Bolts picking up momentum, but they needed shots. The shots halfway through the period are 5-4 in favor of Tampa. But they would get those shots in the second half. They get a power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Nyquist. He fires wide. Nyquist was a good penalty killer for Columbus last year. Looks like he's going to be a good one this year as well. Robinson's denied in close on a shorthanded 2-on-1. And there's no shots on that power play. The Bolts get another power play. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Robinson. That rush is saved as well. So Robinson good on the penalty kill, but they do score on that power play. It's a tip in front by Perry from Nemesnikov and Sergachev at 14:08. And a little over a minute later at 15:21, Stamkos puts one in off Boquist's leg. And so it's suddenly 2-1 in favor of Tampa. But at 15:55, Columbus comes back. So there's a lot of goals quickly here. Nyquist gets that goal from Kent Johnson and Goodbranson. It's scored on a rush. So Kent Johnson with an assist, Goodbranson with his first point as a Blue Jacket. Bolts, though, they press with 1.5 minutes left, and eventually, as Columbus gets the puck and they try to get it out, there's a turnover. It goes into their net at 18:55. It's Colton. The assist goes to Perry on that one. So after the first period, the score's 3-2 in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So that's unusual. Second period, Stamkos is denied in close. The Bolts press. Columbus gets pinned down, but Tarasov making saves. I thought Tarasov had a good game tonight. There's shoving then after a hold by Tarasov, but then Foote tips one in at 7:45 from Colton and Nemesnikov. However, Columbus would get a power play shortly thereafter. Vasilevsky takes the spotlight, and he makes the necessary saves to kill that off. The shots are 11-9 in favor of Tampa with 6 minutes left. Tampa Bay presses with 3.5 minutes left. With 1:44 left, this is kind of your turning point in the game, right? Columbus gets a power play, and then it becomes 1 minute and 30 seconds of 5-on-3. So there's a crossbar for Werenski. That's about as close as they get. It does roll over into the third period. Tampa Bay finishes the kill during the 5-on-3 and the 2 5-on-4s that surround it. 3 shots for Columbus. Nothing goes in the net. Vasilevsky standing strong there. Kucherov then had a net drive that was blocked. There's a near miss for Maroon on a turnover. Belmar has a chance that's saved, and then Stamkos ends it. Yes, Stamkos gets the second goal of the game and his third of the season already from Sergachev and Killorn at 7:57. With 9:41 left, Columbus gets a power play. That was killed off by Tampa. Bolts aren't giving Columbus a lot at this point. It was really shut down defense by the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it was a clinic. Really, honestly, ever since they allowed that first goal. Yeah, Nyquist gets his goal squashed in between goals by Tampa, but Tampa controlled the game, and they did a very good job of keeping the crowd out of it. With the 5-2 win, Tampa Bay evens the record at 1-1. Columbus drops to 0-2 on the season. The shots in this one, 14-9 Tampa in the first, 13-12 Tampa in the second, 12-7 Tampa in the third. Final shots, 39-28 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Power plays, Tampa Bay 1 for 2, Columbus 0 for 4. Hits were 22-18 for Columbus. Vasilevsky saves 26 out of 28, and Tarasov saves 34 out of 39. So for Columbus, I would look for Elvis to start tomorrow is what I figure is going to happen, but we'll see. There's 14 games, and so almost everybody's playing. But anyways, moving on from that one to the next game, and I think this was probably the best game of the night, and that's Detroit against Montreal. It was Allen versus Husso, and Jake Allen had just an absolutely remarkable game here. Long range Caulfield shot is held. Pretty open game early. Lots of shots in that first period. The Wings press. Soderblom was impressive right off the hop. Absolutely, really, really strong play by him. And you park him in front of the net. He's 8'6". You can get her done. I might have those numbers backwards, but you guys get the point. So Larkin to Bertuzzi, near miss at the net. The Wings, they press, they draw themselves a power play. Soderblom's shot is held. That power play's killed off, but it's a good power play. It generates opportunities and gives them some momentum. The Wings press at 7.5 minutes. Now I understand it's the Redwoods line. To me, they're like Ents. To me, I've figured that Steve Yzerman's a big fan of Lord of the Rings. Maybe he's watching the new series on Amazon and he's like, we got to have some Ents on this team. That's what's really going to fix it. I'm such a geek. Anyways, the shots are 15-5 for the Wings, 8 minutes into the game. 15 Red Wings shots, 8 minutes into this game. And they were good shots. It's not like they were all from the perimeter either. So, Hronek has a blast that's held. Allen is the story at this point, of course. The Habs press with 9 minutes left. Raymond has a rush chance, that's saved. The Habs get a power play, that was killed off. 2:05 left. The Wings get a power play, and Jake Allen with heroics to keep this game scoreless after one. Second period. Better start for the Habs, who end up getting themselves a power play. That was killed off, just the one shot allowed by Detroit. Then we get pushing after a hold by Allen. Not that there was a lot of that in this game. The Habs press at 8 minutes. Haig has a blast that's saved. Allen holds. The shots are 5 apiece with 9.5 minutes left. And it was more even than the first by a lot. Really, Montreal played much better in the second period. Raymond couldn't bury one in close. Vrana has a rush chance that's defended. The Habs rush back. 3:33 left. The Wings get a power play. They were a crossbar away from 1-0, but Montreal survives that and kills it off. So still scoreless going into the third. And I did like hearing Mickey Redmond. Of course, I picked the Detroit feed. What else am I going to pick? I did like Mickey Redmond when Detroit was leading in the shots and getting all these shots, saying, well, you know what's going to happen. I've watched enough hockey to know that, the team that has all these shots ends up allowing the first goal. Mickey was glad to be wrong tonight. There's an early press by the Habs, but Detroit would open the scoring in the third period. It's Soderblom, his first goal of the game. What's nice is his mother was being interviewed before the third period, and then they showed her celebrating after the goal was scored. That was nice. Rasmussen and Sundqvist with the assists at 2:33. And it was after a turnover by Montreal, and he buried a rebound. So all around, good play by Detroit there. Wings have some momentum with the lead. The Habs press. They're kept to the outside. 10:20 left. The Habs get a power play. Josh Anderson's robbed in close. That's killed off. Ernie fires wide on a rush. The Habs didn't have any space in the neutral zone. Detroit, under Lalonde, is being coached well through this first game. We'll see how things progress through the rest of the year, but this was a team that wasn't giving anything up down the middle, which is different for a Detroit Red Wings team, comparatively speaking, with the last, I'll say, 5 seasons. So, goalie pull with 2:26 left. Husso minus his stick. A little bit of nerves there, but it's cleared out by Cedar. 1:23 left. The Habs get a timeout. Moritz Seider. I'm going to mess that up a couple times. It's the start of the season, so don't be surprised when I mess things up a bit. So Moritz Seider. Apple cider. Okay, I'm good. So the Habs call a timeout with 1:23 left. They get the goalie pulled. That allows Detroit to get a couple of goals. First, it's Rasmussen from Kopp and Larkin at 18:59. Montreal pulls the goalie again. That allows Mata to hit the empty net from Rasmussen and Sundqvist at 19:12. Hey, so Rasmussen comes out of this game with 3 points. He has to feel pretty happy. And that line, 2 assists for Sundqvist, the goal for Soderblom, which turns out to be the game winner. Detroit wins 3-0. They're 1-0 on the season. They're undefeated. There you go. 82-0, here we come. Montreal's 1-1 with the loss. The shots in this one, 25-10 Detroit in the first, 9-8 Detroit in the second, and then Montreal outshoots them 11-6 in the third. They made Husso work for that shutout. Final shots are 40-29 for Detroit. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 3. The hits were 38-24 for Detroit. So Detroit's a heavy-hitting team now that also outshoots their opponents. Yeah, Wings fans are going to like that. Jake Allen saves 37 out of 38. The only thing he couldn't do was skate down the ice and score himself. Husso saves all 29 shots for his 4th career shutout, and that looks like a good acquisition, though, again, it's early, but I'm fine with it being early. All right, next up, the Rangers in against the Jets. So the Rangers playing their 3rd game in 4 nights. I didn't think it showed up until later in the game. So, Halak versus Hellebuyck. Of course, Shesterkin played last night, so Halak gets to start tonight. Early press by the Jets. Pionk has a chance that's held. The shots at that point were 5-1 in Winnipeg's favor. The Rangers get a power play. However, we end up with 1:16 of 4-on-4. Connor has a chance that's saved. And then we're back to 5-on-5 when Scheifele scores from Ehlers and Morrissey at 10:29. So that makes it 1-0. And it was scored on a rush. He absolutely wired it. It was a good play by Scheifele. Not to take anything away from the pass from Ehlers, of course. Goudreau nearly answers. The Jets press with 8 minutes left. DeMello has a blast that's held. The Jets look really good in this game. And again, I understand it's the Rangers' third game in 4 nights. That's what people will say. But hey, Winnipeg looked good. Manalainen had a rush chance that was saved. I thought he had a good debut with the Jets tonight. Rangers press. The Jets shot block. The Jets then out a 3-on-2 that was defended. Halak holds on to that. So after the first period is 1-0 Jets. Second period, the Rangers really turned it on in the second. Lindgren has a chance to deflect wide. Hedl has a shot that's held as the Rangers are pressing. The shots are only 4-3 for the Rangers at 5 minutes, but it felt like it should have been more lopsided than that. Kreider misses one wide on a rush. Lafreniere's then denied, and the Jets rush the other way. The next Lafreniere shot was snagged and held. And at this point, the Rangers are driving the play. The Jets are really on their heels. So now they're leaning on their goaltender, and Hellebuyck looked pretty darn good. Fox has a shot that's held. The Rangers, of course, again, third game in 4 days. I felt like putting that up there because they're controlling the play, even though this is their third game in 4 days, and this is the Jets' first game of the season. There is, of course, the early season jitters, the debut jitters. There's all this other discussion of, which team's really got the advantage, the one that's used to the games now, or the one that's playing their first game. Perfetti has a one-timer that's blocked by Hedl. Ehlers fires one high on a rush. The Jets, though, they do press. However, with 3:02 left, the Rangers go to the power play. Trocheck's denied. Good cycle. Kreider was denied as well. It's killed off really by Hellebuyck. This was a good power play. The Rangers' power play is going to be lethal this year. The Jets taken off the hook there by Connor Hellebuyck. Ehlers then had a fast break that was defended by Trouba, and every time he touched the puck, the fans chanted "True." I guess. Oh no, they were probably booing him. Anyways, 6 seconds left. The Jets get a power play that rolls over into the third period where they have the 1-0 lead. That leads to a rush by Zibanejad, basically right off the opening face-off of the third period. Nice clean ice for him, and he was trying to get that back, and Hellebuyck's there to make the save. Jets couldn't set up. The power play's killed off. The Jets managed 2 shots on net. Then we had a near miss for Wheeler on a 2-on-1, and it really looks like a bad idea because Dryden Hunt goes bar down with one. It was in and out of the net pretty quick. Trocheck and Panarin at 3:55. That's what she said. So Trocheck and Panarin with the assists at 3:55. So Panarin continues his really strong start, and that ties up the game. Dubois then denied as the Jets try to answer. And the Jets did a pretty good job of not being set back by that tying goal. Lowry fires one high as the Jets press. Panarin's then denied as the Rangers get some pressure of their own. The shots are 8-5 in favor of New York halfway through this period. Miller has a shot held as the Rangers are getting some more pressure. But then when Winnipeg has that opportunity, Sam Gagner showing patience, buries the second opportunity from Menelainen and Gustafsson at 15:35. So Menelainen's on the board. Good to see. And the Jets have the lead. Ehlers then denied on a fast break. With 2:34 left, Trouba with a delay of game call. So that puts the Jets on the power play, and Jets fans probably pretty happy to see Trouba in the box, and even happier when the Jets converted on that power play. It's Scheifele from Dubois and Ehlers at 18:22. Great pass by Dubois. One-timer by Scheifele, who has 2 goals in the first game of the season for the Jets. So he's hit the ground running. And there you go. Goalie pull with 1:20 left. With 37 seconds left, the Rangers call a timeout. But Connor hits the empty net from Wheeler at 19:40. It was a nice play by Wheeler that helped set it up. That makes your final score 4-1 for the Winnipeg Jets, who are 1-0. The Rangers are 2-1 on the season. But again, third game in 4 nights. I'm willing to say, well, this is third game in 4 nights. I'm not going to punish them in that video that goes up tomorrow night that everybody argues about. So, the shots, 13-10, Winnipeg in the first. I'm talking about the power rankings, of course. Second period, the Rangers outshoot Winnipeg 21-7. That's where Hellebuyck really shone. Third period, the Winnipeg Jets get that control back. That might be where the Rangers got more tired. Shots 14-10 in the third in favor of Winnipeg. Usually the team that's playing that third game in 4 nights, you'll see them kind of run out of gas in the third a little bit. Final shots are 41-34 for the Rangers. Power plays, Rangers 0 for 2, Winnipeg 1 for 3. hits 28-25 for Winnipeg. Halak saves 30 out of 33. I thought he looked good. But Hellebuck, 40 saves on 41 shots. He's got a very good record when he has 40 saves in a game. So, yeah, last game of the night, the Canes and the Sharks. And this was, I'm not going to lie, of the 4 games that were played tonight, this one was the one that was kind of the slowest and low opportunities in terms of really good prime opportunities. Both coaches seemed to go into this game with the idea of neutralizing the other team's offense. So it's Raanta versus Reimer, early power play for the Sharks. The Canes don't let him set up. The Canes penalty kill is going to be very good again this year. It's killed off, no shots. Stahl with a wraparound, that saved as the Canes are pressing, looking for the lead. Canes are in control at 5.5 minutes, and you could hear the fans in the crowd getting a little bit restless here that the Canes are controlling the play. They want something to cheer about in the first home game they've had this season. So the shots are 3-2 for the Canes at 7.5 minutes. And much like I said in this one here, the shots I didn't think told the whole tale. It felt like the Canes were in control of a lot of it. Raanta holds when the Sharks did press. Pesce fires one high on a rush. 7:26 left. Carolina gets themselves a power play. Killed off, and then Hurdle was denied when he rushed in. We get Jarvis with a blast. That saved. The Sharks did manage to clear it out. Svechnikov, his net feed was held by Reimer. Remember, this is a game where both Svechnikov brothers are playing, so I had to make sure when I was writing the notes, I was clarifying which Svechnikov I mean, because the other Svechnikov, Evgeny, the older Svechnikov, scores to open the scoring from Megna and Carlson at 17:48. And it was a really good shift by that fourth line, and nice to see Svechnikov get rewarded there. So it's 1-0 San Jose after 1. Second period. Early jump for the Sharks. They get a power play out of it. 26 seconds of 4-on-4, though, and then the Canes get a power play after that. The Sharks didn't let them set up, so both penalty kills pretty effective tonight overall. Aho tips one wide, Couture clears, and it's killed off without the Canes getting any shots on their power play. DeHaan has a chance that's blocked. Reimer then holds. The shots on net are 5-0 Canes at 7 minutes. So the Sharks, when they had their opportunities, they couldn't hit the net. Canes are in control, but Reimer is quickly becoming the story here. Meyer goes beast mode, but couldn't bury on that shift where he did go beast mode. Sharks press, and they draw themselves a penalty. So the Canes, who had some penalty issues last season, there's some penalty issues in this one, but again, it doesn't hurt them tonight. So hey, if your penalty kill makes up for it, it's not necessarily a big deal, right? So LeBanc is robbed. Then there was a shorthanded chance for Stepan. That's held at the other end of the ice. We get a Svechnikov versus Svechnikov battle on the ice, and Evgeny won it and took the puck away from his brother. So there's something to talk about in American Thanksgiving. Aho has a shot that deflects out. Reimer at this point is the first star of the game as far as I'm concerned. Raanta wins a race for the puck with Nieto. Nieto was in on his own if Raanta hadn't have. And if Raanta hadn't have beat him, Nieto would have just skated around him and put him in the net. And that'll be on the highlight reels everywhere. And then Necas. It's a turnover. He scores 5-hole. It was a really nice move by Marty Necas. Svechnikov with the assist at 19:37. So one Svechnikov has a goal. The other one has an assist. And we go to the third period. Now, before the third period, Canes announcer says, the Canes will grind you. He said more than that, but it didn't make it sound better than the Canes will grind on you. Which, right? I thought that's kind of odd. And then the other announcer to the game, Brett Hedican, says, the color announcer says, they start to grind a little bit of your own about the Sharks. And I'm thinking, so are the Sharks grinding on themselves? What is this game? I will say it's the late game, so a lot of kids on the East Coast would have gone to bed. So if these teams are grinding on each other or on themselves, that's the game you want to bury it in, is the 7:30 Pacific start. It was, I was having a good chuckle. So was Yvonne. So it was pretty funny. Anyways, too many men on the ice. The Sharks get a power play. That's what happens when everybody's grinding on each other. You lose track of whose turn it is to go on the ice. You're so anxious to get out there. So shorthanded 2-on-1s defended by Couture. There are people watching this going, what in the world has happened to the review? It's a recap. I call them recaps now because people always said, it's not a review. You're not giving your opinion. It's just a play-by-play of what happened, stupid hockey guy. Fine, they're recaps now. So that's killed off the Canes press after that penalty kill. Sturm misses an empty net on a rush, and that really stands out. Sturm needed to get that one into the net. So if Nico Sturm ends up on waivers at some point or traded, you may look back at this and go, yeah, that's probably where management lost faith there. Canes get a power play. Svechnikov with a near miss. The Canes cycle. We then end up with 40 seconds of 4-on-4, which means that the power play is going to go the other way, but it's all killed off and we're down to 9.5 minutes left. And I'd kind of resign myself to overtime. I'm running out of space here. So the next noteworthy event is Chatfield having a fight with Gregor. Chatfield scores the takedown. Good on him. And then things are pretty good, pretty wide open, back and forth play. And then Carolina gets the winner. It's Aho from Pesce and Teravainen at 18:02. It went in off Aho's skate. I didn't see a kicking motion, but there was no call for a review, and there was no challenge on it either. So it's in off the skate. But again, Aho with the goal there. They did pull the goaltender with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. They had to put him back in, and then they pulled him out again. I didn't write it down because I'm like, it's fine. In the end, your final score is 2-1 for Carolina. It's a 2-0 start for the Canes. It's an 0-3 start for San Jose. So the Sharks had a decent game, a really good game out of Reimer, but they're 0-3 to start the season. The shots are 8-7 Carolina in the first, 17-4 Carolina in the second. Yeah, Reimer was the star there. And then 10-7 for Carolina in the third. Final shots are 35-18. So this score is a little bit flattering to San Jose. Power plays, Carolina 0-3, San Jose 0-5. Hits were 15-11 for San Jose, so this was the least physical game of the four. Ronta, 17 saves on 18 shots. Reimer saved 33 out of 35. Looked very, very good. So of the two goaltenders through 3 games, Reimer has the better stats. We'll see if it stays that way. Here you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.